understand. They would arrive at some wrong conclusion, an offensive conclusion. But Srimati Radharani was exhibiting certain traits of devotion that are found at the highest level of pure devotion that are not possible for anyone else in the whole creation, spiritual or material. And that stage is called Mahabhava. And it is this Mahabhava that Krishna accepted and therefore appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because the feelings of Srimati Radharani at this point in time corresponded exactly to the sentiments that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also experienced and descended here to relish actually. This is the internal reason for Mahaprabhu's descent into this world, or for Krishna taking on the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then she began admonishing the bee and said, "Your master, what can I say? He is completely, his actions are completely immoral and improper. We have heard from our elders that he has had many previous births. In one birth, he was Ram. And as Ram, he went into the forest and he killed Vali like a hunter from behind, not like a Kshatriya from the front. And then there was this lady, Shurpanakha, who came to him and then he cut off her nose and her ears because he was attached to his wife Sita Devi. And then in another birth, we are told, he took the form of a dwarf and he cheated a great king called Bali. And Bali Maharaj was very innocent and he gave everything. And what did this Krishna do in that birth? He tied him up as if he were a crow. So such is your master. So why should we have anything to do with him? And so on. And she went on and on. That bee went away. When the bee went away, then Srimati Radharani became a little frightened. Oh my God. He may go now and narrate to Krishna what I've actually said to him. But another bee came. And then this time she talked to the bee in a very respectful tone. So that the bee wouldn't go and pass on any messages that were not to Krishna's liking. And Uddhava was watching all this and hearing all this in complete astonishment. Now he had understood why Krishna sent him here. And he realized that we Mathura devotees are actually nothing compared to these devotees of Braja, especially these gopis. Our devotion doesn't count for anything in front of these devotees. And then Uddhava tried to pacify the gopis. He spoke some transcendental knowledge, Of course, the gopis were not in a mood to hear all sorts of gyan, of transcendental knowledge. They had reached the pinnacle of transcendental knowledge, where transcendental knowledge doesn't matter any longer. But anyway, so Uddhava spoke to them, and then he also read out Krishna's message, in which Krishna had said that actually you are never separated from me, because I am with you. And Krishna also spoke transcendental knowledge. And he said, I am in the hearts of every living entity, I am in every atom, I am inseparable from all of you and from everything. And there will also be a time when I will return to you. You will never be separate from me, and I will be in your midst very shortly. So in this way, he pacified the gopis with Krishna's message. So the gopis were very happy to hear Krishna's message, and they were pacified somewhat. And they began to again remember Krishna's pastimes. And they narrated some of those pastimes again. They asked Krishna, Uddhava, I beg your pardon, to remain there for some days. Now Uddhava had become so addicted to Raja by now, he didn't remain there for a few days, he remained there for a few months. And every day went by like this. Every moment of the day. You know, consistency is evidence of anything, right? If we claim we are devotees, it's not enough to exhibit devotion one time. But we must consistently have that devotion. Then people can understand we are actually devotees. So similarly, Uddhava had seen this extraordinary display of devotion for one night. And then he stayed on. And for some months, every single day, it was the same thing. And he could not leave Vrindavan. And finally, of course, the time came. He did leave Vrindavan. And Krishna was eagerly waiting for him to come back. And Uddhava gave him all the messages. Krishna was making all sorts of inquiries. Okay, what did Mother Yashoda say? What did Nanda Maharaj say? What did Radharani say? What did this one say? What did that one say? So Krishna got all the information from Uddhava. And in this way, the glorious episodes of chapters 46 and 47 in the 10th canto come to a close. Eventually, of course, the Mathura residents moved to Dwarka. And then the time comes when Krishna's pastimes have to wind up from this material world, from this earth planet. And so Krishna arranges for this fratricidal warfare to go on between the members of the Yadu dynasty. And before that, he departs, goes alone to one place. And he lies down under a tree. And Uddhava is aware of Krishna's plan. He smells it. He says, there's something now. Krishna is wanting to wind up his pastimes. And Uddhava cannot bear the thought of separation from Krishna. So he closely follows him and reaches the place where Krishna is now lying down nonchalantly, apparently unperturbed about what's just about to happen in Prabhas, where his family members will destroy each other. And Uddhava approaches him with great feeling and wants to accompany Krishna. He says, Krishna, I know what you're about to do, but please take me with you, because I will not be able to live here separately from you. So Krishna naturally is very favorably inclined to this proposal of Uddhava, because he loves Uddhava. At the same time, he says, Uddhava, I have a mission for you. You have to disseminate this understanding, this knowledge of devotion to me, to everybody in the world. So therefore, you have to stay back. But Uddhava's heart has not got pacified yet. He said, oh, all right, Krishna, that's what you want me to do, so be it. But please still give me some parting instructions. And that's when Krishna speaks to him, the Uddhava Gita. 23 chapters. From chapter, I think, 7 to 29. Yes, that's 23, isn't it? 27 to 29, yes. 23 chapters. Srila Prabhupada mentions in one purport in the Bhagavatam that by speaking Uddhava Gita, Krishna completed the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita. He explained things that he could not speak in the Bhagavad Gita because of obviously shortage of time. There was a battle about to begin and he couldn't take forever to speak. So he spoke the Bhagavad Gita very briefly, only 700 verses. And now he continued to speak and elaborate on those things that he had not found time to speak on to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. So there are many, many important topics, and especially the topic of Bhakti Yoga, the topic of deity worship, and many other topics have been dealt with by Krishna in great detail. The Varnashrama system, the modes of material nature, many things. So it's a wonderful pastime, very deep lessons to be learned from it. And then Uddhava, as per Krishna's instructions, goes towards Badrikashram, Badrinath. On the way, he meets Vidura. who has been sent out by Duryodhana from Hastinapur. And this pastime is described briefly by Shukadev Goswami in the 3rd canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. When they meet on the banks of the Yamuna, Vidura is overjoyed, so is Uddhava. Vidura asks Uddhava about Krishna, about the Vrishnis and so on. And we can see from Uddhava's response that he is completely overwhelmed in ecstatic remembrance of Krishna. Finally, he gathers himself together and then summarizes Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan and also outside Vrindavan. He gives Vidura the news and asks him to go to Maitreya Muni and hear further from him. And then Uddhava goes on to Badrikashram and he lives there. Because Krishna had also specifically wanted Uddhava to speak to the sages at Badrinath, who perhaps not all of them were devotees. They were all transcendentalists of different hues, some jnanis, some yogis, some this and that. So he wanted them all to come on the path of pure devotion, and he wanted Uddhava to do that for him. In this way, Uddhava went and retired there in Badrikashram. So in brief, over the last 2 days, we've tried to discuss some of the glories of Uddhava. Naturally, the glories of a great devotee like Uddhava are so extensive, it is not possible to discuss them and to do justice to these glories in just 2 short lectures. But hopefully we have got some kind of understanding of this in these 2 days. There is no time for questions because now we are going to have a small ceremony for the devotees who have successfully completed their Bhakti Vaibhava course, Srimad Bhagavatam. They have studied the Srimad Bhagavatam and we're going to have a little ceremony. So I was asked to speak about the importance of studying Srimad Bhagavatam. So we'll do that briefly. But I think yesterday's talk and today's talk reflect the importance of studying Srimad Bhagavatam. So if we study Srimad Bhagavatam, we're going to study topics like this, which are full of nectar, which are full of very inspiring narrations, full of wonderful philosophy. Srimad Bhagavatam is the summum bonum of all the Vedic scriptures, as we know. And it is the topmost amongst all the Puranas. In the Bhagavatam itself, in the 12th canto, the Bhagavatam glorifies itself, right? And says, Nimna Ganam Yatha Ganga, Devanam Achito Yatha, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shrampahu, Purananam Idam Tatha. Just as amongst all the rivers, Ganga is the greatest. Amongst all the divinities, amongst all the devas, Achyuta or Krishna is the greatest. Amongst all the Vaishnavas, just as Shambhu or Lord Shiva is the greatest. Similarly, amongst all the Puranas, this Purana, the Bhagavat Purana, the Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest. Dharma Prochita, yes, please come. Yes, you are the important person here. Please come, Navabib Chandra Prabhu, who is overseeing the whole program of the Bhakti Vaibhava course and one of the main teachers also, I believe. Yes. So we're just speaking about the Srimad Bhagavatam. So when am I supposed to end? Now? 5 minutes. Sorry? Okay. All right. Dharma projita kaitapotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vastavamatra vidyamastu shivatam tapatrayon molanam. So the Srimad Bhagavatam says in the very second verse that this Bhagavad Purana rejects all kinds of cheating religion. What is the meaning of cheating religion? What kind of religion is a cheating religion? Any religion that doesn't bring us to the point of loving the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a cheating religion. It may be a bona fide cheating religion in the sense that it's there in the Shastra. For example, Karma Kanda is there in the Shastra, it's there in the Vedic literatures. But it's a kind of a cheating religion in the sense that it deprives us of the most sublime goal of life, which is Krishna Prema. So the Srimad Bhagavatam has nothing to do with Karma Kanda, which is fruitive, materialistically inspired and motivated religion. Similarly, the Srimad Bhagavatam has nothing to do with Jnana Kanda, that religion which is motivated by the desire to merge into the impersonal absolute truth. Rather, the Srimad Bhagavatam is concerned only with pure devotional service to Krishna. Dharma prochita kaitavo tra paramo. So this is the Parama Dharma, the supreme Dharma for all humanity. It is meant for those who are nirmatsara, completely freed from envy, or those who want to be freed from envy sincerely, because envy is the hardest thing to get free from in this world. We can get freed of the other things, greed, lust, anger, even pride, of course, very difficult. But envy is something that has this habit of sticking on in some corner of the heart somewhere. So those who want to be nirmatsara also should hear the Srimad Bhagavatam very regularly. And this Bhagavatam gives us the Vastavam Atra Vastu. It gives us the truth that is really real. Vastu means thing. Vastav means really. So it gives us the real thing, the real truth, not that which is falsely real. And by studying this, by hearing this, by reciting this, it will uproot the threefold miseries from the depths of our heart, and we will become blissful and happy all the time. So now we have many happy souls who have studied the Srimad Bhagavatam and have relished it, have probably studied 6 cantos, isn't it?
6 cantos.
6 cantos. You studied 6 cantos from the Srimad Bhagavatam. So our heartfelt best wishes and congratulations to those of you who have studied these 6 cantos so diligently and so devotedly. Please continue with this study of Srimad Bhagavatam for the rest of your life. And all of us also should be inspired by the example of these devotees. And we should also try to study the Srimad Bhagavatam very, very diligently and carefully, and to use Prabhupada's word, scrutinizingly every day of our life. So I will hand over now the floor to Shruti Dharma Prabhu for further progress in this program. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Firstly, what a wonderful 2 days class by His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Swami. Wasn't it? And we cut it short even because we had to have the ceremony, but we could hear more from him. The Bhakti Rasamrita course, obviously something that started a while ago, 4 or 5 years. Now generally when you think about studying for 4 or 5 years, that's like university, 4 or 5 years, every day. So the Bhakti Vaibhava course was something that ran for 5 years, 3 hours every week, plus homework, a lot of reading, you can imagine. And hence we say it's the degree, the BA in Krishna consciousness or Vedic studies. It's that important in itself. I wanted to take the opportunity to thank Navadvip Chandra Guru, who is here. Navadvip Chandra Guru. He was the first devotee here at Bhaktivedanta Manor who went out and studied, and he came back and started to teach it as well. Dayananda Maharaj had also studied it before, but he didn't teach the course himself. So he took it upon himself, and right now he's running not just the course for Bhakti Vaibhava here, which is finished, but he started a course in ISKCON London as well, with a group of students there as well. So really it was his hard work, his vision to bring the Bhagavatam into the homes of so many families in a serious way. And I know when we first started the Bhakti Vaibhava, of course, we had a lot more students. How many did you have originally?
In the beginning, about 20.
20. You know how it is, the initial enthusiasm is always good. We finished with 12. So that's really good, you know. Because, as you know, the middle part is where challenges occur in life. The difficulties, the disinterest even sometimes perhaps, and issues that occur in everyone's life that doesn't allow you. But then the final part is reward for the committed. Reward for the committed. So initial enthusiasm is the first part. And everyone has that in spiritual life. But in the Bhakti Vaibhava, of course, you had those that stayed throughout. And now there's reward for the committed. And the reward is today, the acknowledgement, the certificates that we'll be giving out to all of you. And I know that we've had a whole variety of teachers that have been teaching Bhakti Vaibhava, that every now and then we had a guest speaker that would come in and they would speak. I spoke every year for some sessions there, and I know it really needed a lot of commitment. Imagine every Sunday, and you had to come on a Sunday, because that was the time which was allocated by Navadip Chandra for 3 hours, whether it was the afternoon, whether it was the morning. So a lot of commitment in life when you have so many other things going on, or family individuals who are studying it practically. So really my congratulations to every single one of you who took up that challenge for so many years, and here we are today, the day when we acknowledge that. So Prabhupada's system of studies, as Maharaj has already said, you know, Bhakti Shastri is there. How many people have done Bhakti Shastri here? Many of you. We've started, I think, so many individuals have gone. And then of course the next is Bhakti Vaibhava, which is the study of the first 6 cantos of the Bhagavatam. And we've got devotees that have studied that today here. And then I don't know if you'll go on to Bhaktivedanta. I know Dayananda Maharaj has studied. He's one of the only 3 people in ISKCON that studied Bhaktivedanta, I believe. Only 3 people had that time over years to study it. So he's one of them. And then of course Prabhupada said Bhakti Sarvabhauma after that. That's like the Masters or the PhD. So much to study in Krishna consciousness and so little time. Isn't it, when we look at it, so little time. So at least today some committed individuals have come. The Ramayana, it teaches us how to lead in this world. Lord Ram is the example, leading a nation, leading a family, being the example of the perfect son. So leading, the Ramayana is all about that. The Mahabharata is all about how to live in this world. The Pandavas had dilemmas every day and how to solve those dilemmas. So the Mahabharata has a lot of that, how to live in this world every day with so many issues that may occur. And now even more so, they didn't have emails and WhatsApp, and you know, at every moment there's a dilemma or a difficulty. They didn't have to worry about that part of it. And today we come to the Bhakti Vaibhava study, and that's the Bhagavatam. So we have how to lead in this world, how to live in this world, and the Bhagavatam is all about how to leave this world. The study of Parikshit Maharaj, how to leave this world. So my congratulations. It's not that we want you to leave this world, but we need to know one day we will leave this world. And that study of the Bhagavatam will surely replenish us. It will give us that taste, it will give us that remembrance. And Prabhupada very much wanted that, the remembrance of the Bhagavatam within our lives. Once again, congratulations to all of you, and let's put our hands together for the course director, Navadip Chandra.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So is this mic? So thank you, and it's a tremendous honor to be here in front of all the devotees. I seek the blessings of all the senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada and all the senior devotees here, who've acted as a major source of inspiration for myself in my studies in Krishna consciousness, and also for most of the individuals here in this room. So this is a short and sweet ceremony, hopefully. We'll be recognizing the tremendous efforts of the students. Today is all about the students, all of those who have made a several-year journey through the Bhagavatam. They've overcome many difficulties, undergone many austerities, and hopefully today a small token will be presenting them with their certificates to recognize their hard course of study. So Maharaj will take the asasana, and I would like to invite each student one by one and say a few words about them. If they could take a seat to the left of Maharaj, and Maharaj will then award them the certificates. So first I would like to invite the first So, just a few words about Radhika. In 2012, we actually launched this course. We actually started advertising. And she was actually the first person to sign up within a few days. So right from the beginning, it was clear that she had a deep interest and a deep attraction to studying the Bhagavatam. Of course, once we finally started in January, she was always enthusiastic throughout the lessons. Her work was always of high quality. And she inspired many of the students and our whole group in general to keep on this study of the Bhagavatam and make it a central feature of our lives. Towards the end of Canto 2, we made a suggestion that perhaps we should all go on a yatra to visit some of the holy places that we actually hear about and read about in the Bhagavatam. And she immediately jumped on that idea, and over the next few months she acted and she helped tremendously to make that actually a reality. So although this was not a formal part of the course, it was something which everyone relished, and it helped us as a group to come together and explore the Srimad Bhagavatam, study the Bhagavatam in a very friendly and comfortable way. So I want to offer my thanks to her for that, and to offer thanks for all the effort she's put in throughout the course. Thank you very much. Is Prem Govinda Prabhu here? Or Radha Gopi Mataji? So I would like to invite Sanjay Prabhu, please. So Sanjay Prabhu in our classes, at least to me, came across as the quiet one. Now, others may disagree. But he would sit there while we would be having a raging debate about some philosophical point, and he would be calmly absorbing everything. He also produced very high quality work. His essays were excellent, his tests were excellent, and it was clear that he was actually taking on board the feedback that was being offered at various stages in the course. He would write essays, we would give some comments, and he would incorporate them and improve his outlook and understanding of the subject the next time around. So that is always very wonderful to see, that actually there is some progress in terms of thinking, in terms of development, and there is a motion forward in terms of how we approach the subject matter. This course is not so much, or it's not so restricted to just a factual download of knowledge from the Bhagavatam. We actually cover 12 Shastric aims throughout this, aspects which allow us to apply the Bhagavatam to our lives, aspects which allow us to focus on Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission, and of course the understanding aspect. So Sanjay Prabhu made a very deep effort to actually incorporate all of these dimensions into the Bhagavatam, and he's been a great asset. He would always help out with various practical items, setting up the room, any little tasks that needed to be done. So I'm very grateful to him. Thank you very much for your study of the Bhagavatam. So, next I would like to invite Ananda Mohini Devi Dasi. Thank you. So Ananda Mohini Devi Dasi also has been with us throughout the entire duration of the course. And what is remarkable is that she has been absolutely consistent in her appreciation of the Bhagavatam right from the beginning to the end. Her enthusiasm has been evident to all members of the group. And she has studied diligently, worked hard, and I can see she's one person who has transformed her life based upon the Bhagavatam. The messages of the Bhagavatam can be applied in all our lives in different ways. And I can see that she has made different choices that prioritize the spiritual dimension of her life. So she has studied very well, she's studied very hard, and she also mentioned to me once that the Bhagavatam is something that kept her sane during the journey of life. So we're all challenged by different moments of difficulty, different moments of excitement. But the Bhagavatam can be a constant, transcendental factor that keeps us going. So during this period, of course, she got married, and her husband has been very supportive of her. So I'd like to thank him also. Both of them are planning to actually take their studies forward and hopefully spend some time in Mayapur. As I mentioned, focusing on the spiritual dimension of life. So that is really a kind of transformation that we love to see. That someone takes the Bhagavatam, inspires and transforms their life, prioritizes spiritual life above and beyond all other options that are available. So I want to thank her very much for that. Thank you. Next, I would like to invite Ravindra Prabhu. Ravindra Prabhu is the example of our senior brahmachari on the course. And he is an excellent example of someone who is always immersed in service. He conducted a large number of services, as anyone does in the ashram. And so sometimes managing and studying on a course like this becomes difficult when you're actually living in the ashram. You may think it's easier, but actually you're not really in charge of what's happening the next day. So within that requires a great deal of organization and planning to set aside the time required to study. So Ravindra Prabhu was